this part 3 episode, I talk to Eshin about enlightenment, transcending, the truth, chakras and Zen, and some other dream astral projection things as seen by a Buddhist monk. Thank you so much, Eshin.
Now I want to kind of get into the more spiritual side of things. You know, I'm kind of a hippie, and I don't know if hippie is the word, but I like to explore and do things. So is there any kind of enlightenment that one can achieve in Zazen Buddhist meditation, or just being an ordained Buddhist monk, or do you hear stories of people finding some kind of enlightenment? And if so, what is that exactly?
There is a word in Zen traditions called kensho, and it means seeing deeply into nature. And I mean nature, not just like plants and, outside in a park kind of nature. I mean like all things.
All things natural in the world.
Yeah,
like
all
anything
things,
you can see or touch.
Everything is natural.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it all comes from the earth, us too. Anything we do is just with the earth, so that's natural too, ostensibly. But seeing deeply into all of that and having an insight, that's called kensho. And kind of there are traditions that are sort of programmatic about how to approach or how to get to those awakenings. And there are lots of really great stories left to us about those experiences. And one of the first ones, and a profound one, is understanding Mu. Do you know the Japanese character Mu?
Moomin?
Not Mu mean, just Mu.
Rings a bell, but I'm not sure.
I don't see it written on the walls anyway.
Okay.
But anyway, it's a character that means emptiness. And that concept is difficult to understand in the sense that, you can do a lot of zazen and concentrate on emptiness in those traditions, that kind of branch of Zen, and recognize how all things are fundamentally empty of own existence, of self-existence. We don't exist apart from anything else. That emptiness is also the profound interconnectedness of all things. Me too. But once you have that insight, although the profundity of that insight, once you actually touch it, is an awakening, an aspect of enlightenment. It's not something you get and then have. Enlightenment, as we understand it in Buddhism, is not a permanent state. It's not like putting on a shirt and now you're like, hey, I'm an enlightened being. It's more like when you do the thing that produces it, that's already being it. The practice itself is enlightenment. To sit still, to not be moved, I mean that in this case, literally, to not move in spite of everything you sense, everything you feel, and yet be completely stone cold sober awake in this present moment is manifesting enlightenment. That's tough though.
It's like, I just imagine some boys like, made you flinch.
Yeah.
Hey man, I was almost there.
I was in the zone. I'm gonna make you flinch. Yeah, no, yeah, that's a real thing. Actually, funny note about a person being so in that zone, no bro could make him flinch. I know a monk, a beloved monk, who's from Kyrgyzstan.
Okay.
And he was sitting zazen, and he was sitting near.
Those guys are built different the way it is anyway.
Oh yeah. Life is tough there, by all accounts. The Russians were not kind to the Kyrgyz, but he was sitting so in it centipede, big centipede,
Oh, those
came
red boys.
like, yeah, the scary Japanese ones,
yeah.
and it crawled up his leg, and it crawled up his body, and it crawled over his head. And we know this because we can see what's next to us, and we could see that centipede crawl up his leg.
Everyone's like,
Yeah, and you're just like, you look over at him, and you're like, is Ite gonna be okay? Is he not? And he didn't move, not even the littlest bit. And that centipede just crawled right over him, and nothing. The next person was just, we're sitting there like, oh dear Lord, please don't come to me. Please don't come. Please don't come to me. Please don't come to me. Please don't come to me. But really,
you were not in the moment of enlightenment.
no. I was terrified, right? But that was
You're fight or flight mode.
But that's a really cool example of what we call samadhi, which is sort of full absorption. He was aware of it. Probably felt every footstep across his bald head.
Yeah.
But if you don't respond even to like big bees and wasps and stuff, they don't sting you.
Yeah.
The centipede doesn't want to bite you.
Snakes like that.
Yeah, they don't want to bite you. If you don't move, they might not even recognize that you're not a stone.
Yeah.
As far as they're concerned, you're just a big thing, whatever. But that's hard. But to become absorbed in that sitting upright and awake, we call one of the forms of samadhi, complete absorption. Have you ever driven home from work and safely gotten home, but you walk in the door and you're like, did I just drive home? You ever had that experience?
Yeah, and then I woke up to dreams of alien abductions.
Oh yeah.
But I know what you're saying. Like you're just an autopilot.
Yeah. But you're safe. And like if you were in that autopilot state and some accident occurred in front of you, or like some dangerous thing would happen, you would be there, you would be alert, and you would respond to it. You might remember that dangerous thing. But that there was no danger there, and you just did the thing, just awake and responding to traffic, following the signals and all that stuff. You got home, you're driving, you drove safe, you were completely awake. That is a version of samadhi, of complete absorption, awake.
So you don't have to be a Buddhist monk or ordained Buddhist monk to be able to be enlightened in this kind of term. It's kind of
no, exactly not.
Right?
No, absolutely not.
It's very different than the Stoics, because the Stoics are like the sage. The sage. The sage is like the perfect Stoic, but nobody can be the perfect Stoic. No one can actually become the sage, because it's something that you always want to strive for, but being that would be completely perfect, and nobody is perfect. So then some of the argument was like, well, why would I study Stoicism to try to become something that I can never be? But it's more of the way of life, striving to be your best all the time, even though you're never going to be able to reach that pinnacle of being the sage. And in Zazen Buddhism, there's not really that concept.
It's actually maybe closer than you think. It's more like the trying for it is the point. And, even if you're being stoic and you're not getting moved by whatever trouble that comes up, whatever situation's in front of you, your execution of not being moved by it is not perfect. Sometimes you get thrown off. Sometimes you lash out at someone, you get mad, or you have an emotional response. You get horny and you want to like hold your partner and do those things.
Not me.
So stoic of you. May the rest of you aspire to the same. No, but
do as I say, not as I do.
Do who I say, not what I do, not who I do. No, I'm a bad monk.
No, I love it.
But
see, monks can have fun too.
Of course,
of
course,
they get drunk.
It happens.
Yeah.
But actually, the thing that we strive for is the striving.
Yeah.
Going for it is the point, because no one will be perfect. Like the Buddha, we call him the Buddha. It means the teacher. Siddhartha Gautama didn't go do meditation practices of various different kinds of forms, yoga and all kinds of other things. because he was looking for Buddha or trying to become Buddha. He wasn't trying to become anything. He was trying to just understand himself in the context that he was and his experience of all the situations in his life, the suffering, the getting old, the dying, also the pleasures and the tendency that we have to seek after them. What do we do with that? Like, you can't turn it off. We're an animal. We're going to do that. We're going to experience those things. We're going to chase what's pleasurable and run away from what's not pleasurable. And the Buddha was trying to sort that out, not try to become a Buddha. And maybe a lot of people, let's say, even from shortly after the Buddha's time, were like trying to become a Buddha, right? And it's like, yeah, no, I'm a Buddha. I am Buddha, or whatever. And it's like, well, at the moment that you think you're the Buddha, you've already missed it, because the Buddha wasn't concerned with Buddha.
Yeah, and maybe it's more of a thing, and it's just, I'm just asking this question because I'm curious, but like, it doesn't need to be defined. I didn't start studying Stoicism because I wanted to be a sage. I started studying Stoicism because I wanted to conduct myself in a better manner with myself and society to become a better person, right? So, you know, Buddhism, as we've said several times now, is very similar. So, however, what about these monks that they have found? I believe they're Buddhist monks. They have found inside, they basically mummify themselves. They basically ascend into the next transition of life, whatever it is. It's like a 10, 20-year period. They start eating these different herbs and this stuff. And it's a real thing. I mean, it's happened. And very few can actually succeed, but it does happen. What's that all about?
I think that is, at least in my understanding, it's sort of Buddhism has all these different branches. The teachings, the way to practice to cultivate enlightenment has all kinds of different inroads. And in Buddhism, there are, you know, this school kind of tends to do this sort of thing, and this school does this kind of thing. And some of those traditions that do this self-mummification thing, I think that would be kind of borrowing from the chapter of Siddhartha Gautama's life where he was an ascetic, where he limited his intake of nourishment, like eating 1 grain of rice a day, which is sort of the legend. I don't know how true that is, but you know, eating very, very little, just enough to stay alive, so that his body calms down and that his meditation becomes super calm. And then by depriving the body of too much nutrition, your endocrine system kind of calms down. It's more like you're almost dying, so you don't have any energy to do anything. But in that state, you can be awake, and you can have the chillest, maybe, like you don't have, for example, like no aphrodisiac effect from the food that you're eating. So you don't ever feel sexual desire, or you'd be able to, by virtue of your diet, limit your body's ability to produce that desire. And so that was an exploration. And I think that the self-mummification thing is like turning down the volume on your meditation practice so that you become less and less concerned with, much less able to be moved by what's outside or inside. And that you're maybe in the last moments, you know, your legs are curled up and you're holding some kind of a mudra with your hands, whatever your tradition is, you know, suggesting. Probably it's like this. Most Buddhist traditions are like this. The Buddha was often said to have held his hands this way. And in that last moment, the very last spark as the fire goes out of physical life is just pure consciousness. Maybe.
And is that ascension?
No, I think that they're just human bodies, and their practice is about noticing that tiny last moment of this state we call being alive.
So what's the next state?
Nobody knows, nobody can verify, because nobody's ever come back.
Do they believe in reincarnation? Do they,
Some Buddhist traditions, they probably, a lot of Buddhist traditions do, and I personally, frankly, I think that's just leftover garbage from Hinduism. and that
Oh, shots fired.
shots fired. I actually really think it's more like reincarnation or rebirth is something that happens to us a million times a day. We move from one state of being to another. Like, I'm a joyful being, now I'm a hell, I'm a demon, or I'm a human, or I'm on top of the world, so I'm like a god. And I don't mean like, that god. I mean like more like Zeus, but all powerful. But then I notice that I stink, and so then I get kind of like uncomfortable, but I still feel pretty good. But I'm like, I better take care of my shower. A little bit embarrassed. That's more like a Titan in the Buddhist pantheon. And then like, sometimes you're just like, oh, I really need to go. Like, I need to get that person's phone number because I want to hook up. Then you're an animal, right? And you get reborn in those states.
I do like that the view and things that you've said in the past, because we've had several conversations, which I always enjoy every single one, but it's more like, it is what it is. It's nothing else. Don't need to worry about it, right? My whole theory about the mummification, there was this, I forget his name, it was like an ancient Chinese guy, and he had figured out life, he said. And he's going to the top of the mountain, and some guy's like, hey, where are you going? And he was known to be a very wise man. He's like, I'm ascending, I'm good, I don't need this body anymore, I'm gonna go shed it, and I'm gonna ascend and get to the next level, right? They're like, well, can you write down what you know? And it's a book called The Way, I forget it in Chinese. And basically he's like, sure, and he wrote down kind of the way, like how to get here to this level of ascension, right? This where you don't need to, and it does go back to Hinduism, where it's like you don't need to be stuck in the cycle of reincarnation and rebirth. You get to a certain level of whatever that is, it's a whole other conversation, but you can finally ascend. My theory is like these monks got there. They have trained so hard and so much where they're like, okay, now I know what it is to be able to ascend. Now I'm going to do that. I'm going to just preserve my body, and it's just their way of going out, because like shedding their shell. Like, okay, I'm good. I don't need it. So that's kind of what I envision when I read into these things. It's very interesting. No, you're right. Nobody knows.
It seemed, but don't you think it's possible that we're all looking at the exact same thing, but we're seeing it from slightly different perspectives? But it's, however we describe it, like somehow or another, it's the same thing.
Is it though?
What do you think?
I love these conversations. I mean, if you're a friend of mine and you've talked to me whether you wanted to or not, I probably try to pull you in these kind of conversations.
Good. It's good.
My friends are like, uh-huh.
Oh, Ron,
shut up,
again.
Ron. But I mean, again, that's a whole other conversation. But to me, that is kind of a different thing, right? We talked about before. I love space. I love stars. I love the unknowing and the vastness and deepness of space. But you were like, don't worry about it. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing that's going to change. Like, why spend time researching and digging into something that doesn't really matter to you in the end? Zazen, sit and be quiet, right? That's what it's just like, which is very interesting. I'm like, oh man, that for me, that would be impossible. I have such a crazy curiosity. I have to research. I mean, daily I'm looking into things, right?
The founder of the tradition of Buddhism that I'm a part of, Master Ehe Dogen, he said, Dogen. Yeah, he said he's like a really great
philosopher. I've heard that before.
Philosopher.
I don't think it was connected to Buddhism, but go ahead.
Yeah, his philosophy is like great. He's considered like the greatest Japanese philosopher, and like on par with Kant and Hegel and Hume and all those great European philosophers. But he's older than all those guys anyway. But he describes part of doing Zazen as turning the light inward, or taking the backward step, which is taking all of that curiosity and turning it here. What is this? What is, a famous Zen question is, what is your original face before your mother and father were born? What is your original face before your mother and father were born?
Wouldn't you have to subscribe to reincarnation to be able to answer that question.
What if you could answer it without being subscribed to anything?
Well, I mean, it's like it's predetermined. If you could see what your face was like before your mother and father was born, then that's kind of a lack of free will. It gets into all kinds of different
It does,
things.
but if you don't think about it in the conventional material terms, another answer can emerge. And that's the answer. It's much more difficult to put your finger on because it's not subject. Like for example, like, okay, the whole universe exists, right? We know like lots of stars and star systems and planets, probably other aliens, non-earthlings exist, right? There's the Fermi paradox, which means that they probably can't come here. We probably can't get to them, but they're out there. We know they're pretty sure. But all that in good regard, and taking into account, okay, free will, determination, all that stuff, putting in there, but actually, like, no matter what you think, there is still a truth. No matter what's in your head or in anyone else's head or whatever anyone else thinks is true, there's probably a fact that just by virtue of thinking we got it, we're all missing.
Who thinks we have it?
Well, a person who says, I understand. I am the Buddha.
The person that
I am
says-
the enlightened one. You should listen to me.
Or the person is like, no, Catholicism is the only way, or Protestant,
Yes.
being a Protestant is like,
Amen.
and that's very, and I will have conversation. I've had
Yeah,
conversations, but it's so difficult for me to have the conversation I want where it's just like completely shut off. And maybe for the masses, people do think in this kind of way. But for me, I'm like, I don't know, and I want to know, and I'm doing what I can to try to get one step closer to knowing.
Yeah, I like, for example, if we use the idea of God, I like to think that you're probably much closer to it than anyone who thinks they understand God. They have an image of, like, the picture that Michelangelo painted inside the Sistine Chapel. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not it.
Yeah, well, like, that's something,
Yeah,
whatever it is.
but
But I know what you're saying. It's like people are like, well, my God this, my God that. I'm like, your God is everybody's God. To
Yeah.
me, it's like, and I think we said this before, to me, it's like the Big Bang. There was like a start and it banged out, and like, this is God, and now there's gods, but every string that you reach for and pull, it's all attached to the same one, but everyone, it's a whole other
it's really easy
topic.
to start applying your own idea to it without actually seeing it. But I think, I agree with you, Ron. I've agreed with you since we first started talking about this.
Well,
kind
we
of
don't
stuff.
always agree on everything,
No,
but
that's
which
what-
is fun
that-
with having
it's exactly- it's fun.
conversations. Yeah.
But I like that. That part of your understanding, to me, is great. I like that.
Like my friend, he's Catholic, and I was born and raised Catholic. I was baptized Catholic, and we were having this conversation. It's always fun, but he's like, "This is the only way. This is my God," and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, all others have to suffer, I guess. And I'm like, "There's only one." He's like, "Well, how do you choose?" And I put a fork on the table. I'm like, "Choose a fork." He's like, "There's only one." Exactly. Choose it. Pick it up. Okay, you chose it. You chose your God because there's only one God. And whatever God is, like the cosmic energy of the entire universe that is all connected. And again, that goes into what I like for when I do meditation or some of the things I'm doing, that cosmic energy that I want to tap into, which goes back to the Hinduism, the chakras and the energy and the third eye and all that stuff, which it seems like to me, Zazen Buddhism doesn't really tap into that at all.
It does, but even when you do touch any of those points, like where energy is swirling or stopped in your body, like noticing the flow of your energy in a chakra, even
Which
once,
means wheel, right?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
spinning energies.
wherever that is, or if you're thinking in Chinese terms, it's like the flow of qi in your body, then that, even understanding that, isn't actually the end. Even if you completely understood all of that, there's something that's further. There's something deeper than that. And it, like, the moment you stop, you're leaving out all the rest. And so keep going.
No, that's, I mean,
Yeah.
that to me, understanding that and opening is the beginning.
Yeah.
That's the beginning.
Yeah.
But in Zazen Buddhism, is there such talk about, okay, the 7 energy chakras in the body and, you know, unlocking them and bringing up the energy? You know, the whole theory is you have this, you've got your spinal cord, and then when your DMT is made twice in your life naturally, when you're born and when you die.
Oh, yeah.
And then people smoke it or do whatever, and they see aliens and whatever. But the theory is you do a meditation, and it pushes up your energy through up into your third eye, and then it releases a chemical DMT while you're still awake, which can give you this connection, basically your antenna to the cosmos, and connect you to this energy and beings or whatever that you want to be able to get to without meditation. But Zazen Buddhism doesn't really touch on that at all, does it?
I actually think it does, but what Zen is really careful about, well, particularly Master Dogen's, in the kind of department of Master Dogen's teaching, is that there are all of those experiences to be had if you sit still long enough with enough intent, like enough concentration, then you will have those experiences. They just naturally occur when you're receptive enough. But
not chasing for them.
Is exactly not chasing for them, which makes them like just happen. But that you had the experience not to get hung up on it, because you still have to get up tomorrow morning, or like you still have to, like after that meditation, you still have to go to sleep to keep your body healthy. You still have to get up in the morning and, you know, clean the altars or sweep the porch or whatever. You still have to do those things in your regular life to live, to be alive in the context that we are. And that, in combination with all of those experiences, which are not excluded, but some people get really into the minutia of naming things. Like, and probably a lot of the names that come out are exactly the same as the sort of the old Sanskrit terms and everything. But in Master Dogen's teaching, it's all like, this is that. And maybe it's even better if we don't encumber ourselves with putting names and labels on stuff. Because one of the other things that's really specific in Master Dogen's teaching about Zazen is, for the period that we're going to sit still and orient ourselves to stillness and silence, put down all of the things. Stop measuring and comparing. Stop picking and choosing. Stop being concerned with what comes next or what happened before. Just be here for a little while. And that repeated practice creates depth. And having all those kind of wild experiences that are really intense, they come up. Sometimes you're sitting Zazen and you're just like, all of a sudden, I'm just crying. And the challenge is to keep your posture, to keep your orientation to stillness and silence. Even though you're crying, cry in silence. And sometimes you can feel incredible fear. It just comes up, comes out of your body. And to continue to not move, like Stoicism, right? But those intense experiences are okay, good. Go brush your teeth. Still got to do that.
Well, sure, of course. But I think for the things that I'm striving for, I guess you can say, because I do seem to be chasing something, whatever it is, these experiences seem to have not a detrimental effect on your day-to-day life. It can enhance them. It can give you more perspective. So it's like, of course, okay, it's not like you're a heroin addict and just you're in this high all the time, and then the rest of the world just goes, you know, keeps going while you rot away. It's like, no, of course, the world still continues, but to me, I'm like, I'm getting more insight from my experiences that I can interact and be a better person in the environment in which I'm in.
we're doing the same thing. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's not a debate or argument or something.
No.
It's just like a conversation. So,
Yeah.
what about like dreaming, astral projections, things like this? Or
In Zen, we have this line about
astral projection?
yeah. Zazen is something we do when we sit and curl up our legs, and there's also when we walk, or when we eat, or when we sleep. When practices,
That's enlightenment, right? If you can get to that state.
yeah. Well, what's when you're practicing, particularly, I mean, like repeatedly coming back to curling your legs up and doing zazen, then you get kind of good at returning to that still, silent place. You get, when you're practicing, it's a muscle. It gets really buff. So usually in the first week of December, we have a week-long period where we do like 8 or 10 periods of zazen a day.
Sure, repetition.
And you get in a very serious, calm, quiet zone. And during that time in a monastery, or even if it's in a temple and you're doing that, keeping that sort of meditation practice, it's harder in a regular temple, but some do. You specifically don't speak, you don't read, and of course you don't do anything that's entertaining. So of course no smartphone, none of that stuff. But what happens if your disposition is just right, if you're prepared and your practice is mature, then you can fall asleep while being awake. Like not sitting up and being asleep, not that. I mean, like when it's time to go to sleep, you get in the bed and you lay down and you close your eyes and you fall asleep, but you're aware of every passing moment.
Well, that's the mind awake, body asleep, astral projection.
It's
thing
a lot like that,
people
yeah.
Talk about that.
And
are you going on journeys when you're in this state?
I mean, the ultimate thing is like the irony is that in the monastery, you sleep in the same place that you do zazen. So even if you fall asleep in the dream, if you're astral projecting, you're not leaving the place where you do zazen. So you're just like, I don't need to search away from just here and now. Right here and now is sleep time. Here I am. And
but are these things talked about?
No.
No. Okay.
But they're happening.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you have a casual conversation with someone, they might say, oh, yeah, I've done that. I've had that experience. And it's like not.
But it's not talked about. It's not like questioned. It's not.
And it's definitely not go for it.
Yeah.
It's just like, if your practice is good, like if you're really wholeheartedly giving yourself to that practice, it happens. That's it.
Yeah, and it's repetition, right? When I'm doing my meditations, and every single night it's something to look forward to, because I completely quit drinking. I'm not going to drink for a year because I want my mind to be clean, and plus my personal life that's going on. And it's been absolutely amazing. I love it. So every night before I go to sleep, it's like a chance for a journey. I'm a dreamer. I want to do lucid dreaming, astral projection. And then once I get into my dreaming, like I have to go through my meditation thing, where now as soon as I get into bed, it just automatically happens, where I can skip that step because I've done it so many times. I'm just like, okay, now I'm here. So what you're saying is you just do this meditation where you're just here all the time in everything you do, whether it's brushing your teeth or eating, you're just in this constant state of focus and attention on the here and now, and living your life in that. And maybe that is what true enlightenment is in the Buddhist community. Yeah, it's taking refuge in stillness and silence. And it's not just the stillness of not moving the body, but that's the sort of the physical manifestation of stillness, obviously. But that stillness is also more like the Stoic idea of just not being moved. You're walking around, but you're also not bowled over by it. The wind is blowing, it's a pleasant temperature. That's that. Yeah, the Stoics are a bit different maybe, because I really enjoy the Stoics because they're like, some people are like, oh, I don't want to study Stoicism because I like my emotions. No, Stoics will say they feel emotions more than the other person because they acknowledge the emotion and it's there. They just know, okay, I'm going to set it to the side and make my decisions and choose my words and my thoughts and my actions, not based upon this emotion getting in the middle of
that
it.
that is exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That to be not moved by it means that you're not acting without careful consideration in response to your desires or
You're
your
not
or your
letting it
angers or whatever.
control your output.
Yes. Yeah. That's stillness.
Yeah. Awesome. That was a lot, and I love these conversations so much. I do want to ask one thing before we go, but before I ask this last thing, is there something that you would like to say or
Well,
or add?
I think, I mean, maybe a little plug if you're
No,
interested
please.
in weird, kind of interesting, spiritually bent YouTube channels. You can go check out my channel, Eshin Regarding Zen. The last time I had maybe just an idea of starting this when we did our first
that's
interview,
right, yeah.
and now I have close to, I have like 75 videos made now.
Oh wow.
I've just been working my buns
Cool,
off
yeah.
and trying to.
I haven't watched them all, but I have watched them.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. So hopefully we can get people over to your channel with my huge following as well.
Yeah, we can, we play our algorithmic power. In May, everyone, YouTube is a great treasure. Like, there's so much good information
There's
there.
a lot of stuff
and a
out
lot
there.
of dumb stuff too.
Of course.
Go watch cool things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, that things like this, it's not really to get popular on
Yeah.
YouTube or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's just to be able to have a conversation and have some kind of record of it, right? So we can put it on
Yeah,
YouTube,
yeah.
and who knows, 100 years later, it still might be out there, and there's a record.
Yeah.
Things have been on YouTube forever right now, right? So it's just to have a record of it and doing it, and I just enjoy it. So thank you if you did happen to watch this video, and especially if you made it to the very end.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to be, an hour. One last thing I want to ask you is, why don't you give us a demonstration for people who might want to do meditation at home? Like, how can one do Zazen meditation wherever they may be?
You want to do it with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So just like we are, you
We
can put
can
your
ring
book
the
down
bell
there.
afterwards, I guess.
You know what? Actually, I'm
I
gonna
love that thing
here.
so much.
Sit in this chair. Sit in this chair. I'll ring the bell to
I don't
start.
know. It's a bell. What is it? It's
This is actually, this big bell is called keisu. It's a daike. The little one is called a shoke. Dai is big and sho is small. So I'll ring this 3 times to.
Should you tell us like how to do the meditation first?
Well, first I'm going to say I'm going to ring the bell 3 times to start zazen.
Okay,
But
sorry, go ahead.
To begin,
Close your mouth.
to begin, just try to sit like toward the front edge of your seat, so that you.
I cannot do this thing.
No. That's why
he
we're gonna
knows it. So.
Yeah, so that's why we're going to do it in a chair. Most Western folks, we sit in chairs. So if you can
Damn
sit
Americans.
far enough in front, like on the front, so you can get your legs out in front of you enough that they're a little bit below your hips, and you could put them under your knees like this. And what that does is it rolls your hips into a position like you're standing.
So your heel should be below your hips, basically?
Well, the real mission here is to get your knees below your hips so that your lower back creates that arch right there.
Okay.
And that helps you sit up straight without having to use your body too much. Of course, sitting on a chair kind of hurts a little bit, digging into your butt. If you put a blanket on a chair or a pillow or something.
Special meditation.
Yeah, and that lifts your butt up even more, so your knees are definitely below your hips.
Okay.
That's number 1.
So knees below your hips.
Knees below your hips. And then from there, you're going to put your hand, so your right hand sits in the middle of your lap, your left hand goes inside your right hand, and you gently touch your thumbs.
And your knuckles should be lining up, right?
Yeah,
Where it says
I
that.
like to match my middle finger, big knuckle there.
Is that just a preference thing, or is that taught?
That's pretty standard
Okay.
in Zen. And then make a, if you turn it up, you can see a big egg shape inside there, yeah. And ever so gently touch your thumbs.
Okay.
And then cast your vision down about 45 degrees.
And real quick, what does this represent?
This is the cosmic mudra. So this is, if you think about where we are in the context of space and matter, there's a lot of big circles, right? certain planets make circles around stars. Stars make circles around in big galaxies and stuff, right? And probably systems of galaxies make big circles around other bigger structures, right? But in smaller and smaller contexts, we have, down to cells, and then things smaller than that, atoms and neutrons and quarks and all that stuff. So this is like a small circle here, which becomes a big circle here, which becomes especially if you curl your legs up, then your whole body becomes that circle, which becomes the circle of the room that you're in, town.
So we become
Earth.
the center of our own universe.
Yes, we become exactly where we are. Because there's inside here, there's ever smaller particles too. So
All right.
cosmic
So
root.
this represents our exact location in the present.
It's our Google Map dot. Then cast your
Don't make me
vision.
laugh when I'm trying to meditate.
Cast your vision down and let your vision become soft. During Zazen, don't close your eyes. See everything in your whole field of vision, but don't look at anything in particular. And in the beginning, you're going to take a couple of intentionally deep breaths. They can be a little noisy, but then settle into steady, quiet breathing. Once you steady into quiet breathing, tuck your tongue up against the roof of your mouth, kind of touching the back of your front teeth, and gently close your lips, if your nose works. If your nose doesn't work, then, you have to deal with that, but that's fine.
And real quick point, you want this just to barely touch and not pressing it and
Yes.
not being too far apart,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
that's right. And then,
Oh, here it comes,
So
my favorite part.
the bell will ring 3 times,
Oh, baby.
and we'll sit for an undisclosed period of time,
Probably hours.
and then I'll ring the bell once to end. So
Oh, God. Okay.
here we go. And at the end, put your hands together, give a little bow.
Thank you so much. I got to get one of those bells.
Actually, when I just leaned over, it sounded like it stopped, right?
And was it still going?
It was still going.
Yeah, my ears are kind of bad. I can't hear that.
Yeah, it dropped below a level, and then I went over here. I was like, oh, it's...
I'm sure that thing's like 2 million yen.
Yeah.
Eshin, thank you so much for your time and meeting, and it's been a pleasure. It always is. Please check out his YouTube channel. If you have any questions for Eshin, put them in the comments or reach out to him directly. If you're ever in Nagoya, come see us and hang out with us.
Yeah.
We'll say what's up. I do have people from my real estate channel come and meet me in
great.
person. So
Great.
it does happen. So we're here in Nagoya. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great one.
Take care.
All right, there we go. Thank you so much. If you made it this far, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much to Eshin for sharing his knowledge and being such a great human and a great friend. If you have questions, as I stated, please put them in the comments or reach out to Eshin directly through his channel. Please like and subscribe. Got a lot of other content coming out with folks that are living in Japan doing some interesting, fun things. Thanks so much. Stay safe.
Very cool. Thank you.
You want to hit it?